Today's episode of Next Moto Adventure gave us more adventure than we'd hoped for.
What an experience, eh? Where else in the world can you do this on the beach? Hey? Go! You see where the tide's come up to already, so it's coming back in. We'll be in a bit of trouble. It's an amazing view though. Sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. Look at that biscuit. Oh dear. I don't like the look of that. Oh no. Another beautiful sunny day in Queensland. We've been invited with Craig Roberts and his dad, who's over from Wales, to go up to Rainbow Beach. So it'll be a beautiful day for it. See how we go.
So for me, it's a quick blast up the highway to the other side of Brisbane to team up with Craig and Steve. And I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to this month.
It's a beautiful day for it.
Steve's only been in the country a few days and already he's saddling up his Tenere for his next adventure. And as usual, our trail boss Craig, who's done all the organising and planning, will be riding his trusty KTM 990. And he's organised some great rides in the past. And if you get a chance, do yourself a favour and check out Craig's channel, Hard Enduro Addict, as he's got some great content. And as you'll see, you might just need to call on those hard enduro skills today. First up, we're going to need to stop for some fuel. And something here is not quite right. BMW, a Yamaha, KTM. Craig has just found out when he filled the tank, the valve that joins both tanks together is leaking. Lucky we're not far from home. So it's a quick ride back to try and rectify the situation. And all jokes aside, looks like he's got it sorted. Yep, all good, no more leaks.
Okay, take two.
As fate would have it, we're now leaving an hour and a half behind schedule, and this will have a significant impact later on, but little did we know it. And on our way, we pass a herd of Mustangs. I guess that's what you call them. And there's our turn-off, the gateway to adventure. wasn't long before we came to our first river crossing, but this time it's on the Tawantin ferry.
The ferry, eh?
Yeah, I got cash, I'll just pay for all three of us.
Okay.
Now that's a novel way to get your boat to the water if you're too young to own a car.
Yeah, right, Steve. Bikes first. That's right.
Now I've got no idea why he's directing me around that way, and the other guy has just told me to line up behind the other blokes. Anyway, I'll just do what I'm told.
Whilst it's slippery.
So again, this is something new for me. I've never taken my bike across on a car ferry before. And it's also going to be my first time on the beach today. So I'm kind of excited. And I'm sure Steve's enjoying the Queensland sunshine. This will be his first time on the sand too.
It's kind of a bizarre feeling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a bizarre feeling, sort of, you're stationary but you're moving. Sitting on the bike anyway.
So as we approach the shoreline and we're chomping at the bit, ready to go, I'm sure the same idea is going through all our heads. As soon as that ramp starts to go down, wouldn't it make the perfect jump?
Go now.
Well, the next thing that took me by surprise was the amount of cars lining up just aboard the ferry. The line was so long, probably half a kilometre, they would have been there for at least an hour, I reckon. So bugger that, I'd much rather be on a bike.
Yeah, a bit of a line up.
We've finally arrived to the gateway of our new adventure at Tiwa Beach. And our trail boss Craig had kindly organised all our permits, as you can see by the signs, they photograph your number plate, and if you haven't paid, you're going to cop a fine.
Quick break. That'd be nice. Alright, here we go.
Even for more experienced riders, the beach access road can be a little bit sketchy, although they do provide matting to give you a little bit of extra traction to help you get onto the beach. But just wait till you see the view as we pop over this hill.
Oh, look at that. That's amazing. Pretty cool. first time on the sand. Tide's coming in, or going out, yeah. Alright, some traffic.
As you can see, there's plenty of four-wheel drives to be aware of as you're riding on the beach. It's not only you out there, there are plenty of people camping and fishing and debris to watch out for too.
Those four-wheel drives don't go slow.
And a lot of those four-wheel drives don't slow down.
That's it, Steve.
And Steve is taken to the sand like a duck to water. He's really enjoying himself, I can tell. And I've got to say, I am too. What a great place to ride. And that's just Craig signing his name on the sand. He's enjoying himself too. And as I check my mirrors and look over my shoulder, I notice some traffic queuing up behind us.
Do you let the trucks by?
As we pull over to let the traffic by, I notice how much harder it is to ride on the soft stuff. A bit more twitchy. And I think Craig is dropping a bit of a hint. And I was just a little slow on the uptake.
What's that? Well, that is.
That's the sort of debris I'm talking about. Righto, I think it's on. Now that was too much fun. Uh-oh, what's going on here with the KTM?
Okay?
And he's got it going again in the nick of time.
What happened?
As it turned out, his bike died because he hit the kill switch accidentally. But after what happened earlier on, we were all a bit nervous. And up ahead, there's another piece of crap washed up on the beach. I wonder what it could be. But as Craig soon explains, it's a pontoon washed up from the Brisbane River after all the flooding. Amazing.
Hey? Oh, really? Wow. It's a long way. Hey, the old man's loving it. Yeah, well.
Now there's something else to watch out for. Rocks. This perfect weather is making for an awesome day's ride. And how good is the scenery? Just look at that. As we decide to pull over and let the traffic by, it's probably a good time to stop and have a break, take some photos and send the drone up. With a view like this, who could resist?
That's amazing. You got plenty of fuel in that thing, haven't you? It wasn't fuel?
Oh, nice one. One tank was a big punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like boom.
Yeah.
Like touched the switch by accident or something.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe that was it. Yeah.
Felt electronic.
Yeah. How good is this?
Righto, it's time to mount up again and head off.
So with the recent floods in Brisbane, they had a lot of pontoons and things cut loose, and that is one of them, out of the Brisbane River, part of a walkway, I believe. There you go. Passed a few of those already. There's a Great Wall cannon blasting through the soft sand. He's on the Dakar. Steve's doing well. What an experience, eh? Where else in the world can you do this on the beach? Another pontoon.
These pontoons seem to be everywhere.
That one's upside down. There you go.
There's some people fishing. How good does that 990 sound on full noise? And it was at that moment that I realised that my chin strap had come loose on my helmet and I better pull over just in case I stack it. And it looks like I'll have some catching up to do. Those guys have disappeared off into the distance. GPS is telling me I'm in the water. Whoa, that was a moment. And just up ahead in front of me, Steve has his own moment. and I follow in suit. Whoa, that was huge.
Whoa, bit of a moment there. Bloody hell. Bloody hell.
And here we are now at the beginning of the freshwater track.
Is that it, is it?
Down on area time, right?
Yeah.
Man, that looks soft.
So me and you go up there, park the bike up, we'll come back down.
Yeah, go either side.
You think? Yeah, all one of us going to be up there looking after the bike.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, do that.
Yep. See how we go.
Craig and I were just forming a plan in case our bikes get stuck. Well, looks like Craig's made it through. Now it's my turn. And I quickly find out how soft the sand is. Whoa! And I managed to get myself a little bogged. But then I'm able to gain a bit of traction and get the bike moving and pedal my way through. How come I can smell burnt toast? Well, maybe that's my clutch, as it sure is getting a workout. And once you're through onto the mats, life becomes a little bit easier.
Whoa, man, that is hard.
Even just trying to manoeuvre the bike on this soft sand over to the parking spot is a little bit sketchy.
That is horrible, yeah.
What do you reckon? Can't go down there or just...
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, be alright.
Well, that was interesting. So Craig and I walked back down to see how Steve got on. And he's made a pretty good effort to get it that far. Meanwhile, at Jurassic Park, or the freshwater campgrounds as it's known, look what we found. And there's not just one of them. 1, 2, and 3. Just imagine one of those crawling into your sleeping bag while you're camping. So the next stage of our journey takes us up the freshwater track, although it's a lot looser than we expect.
Come on, bit speed.
Track's a lot softer and a lot more sketchy than we anticipated. And as we come around the next bend, Steve manages to have a small off. And luckily, he steps away from it.
Feel good, Steve?
And the sand makes for a soft landing. And with track conditions like this, we knew we weren't going to make it all the way up. So we decided to head back up the beach after speaking to one of the locals and take another track, which cuts across to Double Island Point and Rainbow Beach Lagoon. In soft sand like this, paddling is definitely the way to go. You just don't have the momentum or the gyroscopic effect of the front wheel to hold you up. Just look how loose it is, and me soaring at the bars, just trying to get over onto the hard sand. It's hard work. This is not the best place in the world to break down. I hope they get going again. Check out Steve ploughing through the water. Now I'm up on the soft stuff, but look at the traction he gets on the hard pack compared to me over in the soft sand. The surf up this end of the beach is starting to look a lot more angry, and as the tide's coming in, there's less and less of the hard pack to ride on the beach, and we're finding that we have to ride in the soft sand, and there's not much traction in that. So following the advice of one of the locals, we find ourselves on the Leisure track which cuts through to Rainbow Beach. Supposedly it's an easier option than taking the freshwater track, but we've still got another 5 or 6 k's to go from Rainbow Beach Lagoon to Rainbow Beach Township. We're still paddling, but we're making headway. Steve is not far behind us.
I dropped mine coming back down down to the beach. You know how they've got those two those mats. I went in between them. There was a car coming, and I thought, oh, and it looked like it was. I could have gone across the top, and it was really soft. And it dug in, and I just went. It was only like a small one, but yeah. I'll go behind. You alright, Steve? Sure? Rainbow Beach, there we go, we did it. Pretty amazing.
That was a much better option, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It's just quick 5 k's up there now to the town.
Oh, that's good. Still a bit of ass puckering, but wasn't too bad overall.
And as we head off, here's hoping that this is the last stretch of soft sand before we hit Rainbow Beach Township. But is it?
Here we go. Place to get bogs. Look at that. Steve. Come on, Steve.
Okay, Steve's through and away we go again. As I'm riding along, just enjoying the view and relaxing, we notice another obstacle up ahead.
Go quickly right at the back.
Hey, go.
Now check out Craig using his hard enduro skills, using the smaller log as a kicker to get over the big one. Now that's impressive. And now it's my turn. But for me, I decided to take a different approach to the log crossing. And as I make the approach, I can just imagine myself slipping and impaling myself on those branches sticking out of the sand. So I decided to sneak it up, pop the bike over on its bash plate, and away we go. Job done.
Okay, the tide's coming in, and got to try and get along this beach as quickly as we can. Pretty amazing. Craig's coming. Just had to do a log crossing. Hopefully there's no more logs to cross.
And as Craig passes by, I can sense a little bit of urgency in the way he's riding.
What have we got up here?
And it looks like things are getting a little tight up ahead. With the tide quickly coming in, there's more water in front of us than there is beach to ride on. And it's definitely starting to get a little bit tight.
right, it's a bit difficult. Oh, am I going to make it? Oh, just. Well, this is different. This tide coming in, it's not much of the beach left.
Unfortunately, I might have spoken a little bit too soon.
You can see where the tide's come up to already, so coming back in, we'll be in a bit of trouble. Well, it's an amazing view though. Sometimes you got to risk it to get the biscuit. Look at that biscuit. It's going to be interesting.
As the tide's coming in, it's forcing us to ride on the softer parts of the sand, and the bike is a lot harder to control. It's almost like riding in mud in some places. And it's hard enough just trying to dodge these rocks.
I don't like the look of that. I think we've got some rocks.
As we weren't aware of, but soon find out, Rainbow Beach's Mudlow rocks are famous for vehicles getting caught in the surf, and the recent storms have washed a lot of the sand from the beach. And as I look further ahead, I can see Craig's bike disappearing into the surf. I'm really starting to get worried now. Just look at the rooster tails coming out of the water behind his bike.
No, Craig. What are we doing?
So I think we can all feel the panic starting to set in. Steve's going in to try and help Craig. I'm trying to find a place to park the bike and find myself getting bogged every time we go to move it. But I want to put it somewhere where the tide's not going to take it away.
Oh no.
As I park the bike, I can't help thinking the reasons why Craig would have gone into the water in the first place. When you see Craig's footage, you might understand why.
It's not good.
Can we get through up there, you think?
Yeah, just.
Oh, we better, yeah. Uh-oh. What am I doing? Oh shit! Grab it!
So Steve and I jumped in to lend Craig a hand,
Ready?
and it was a mammoth effort just to get that 990 over the rocks. And Craig did incredibly well using his hard enduro skills to get the bike out. And as Steve and I watched him disappear at the beach, I think we both realised that we don't have the skill or the inclination to do the same. We were going to have to wait for low tide. But Craig did manage to get the 990 into Rainbow Beach Township. And all Steve and I could do is try and get the Tenere and the GS to higher ground before the tide came in.
Still stranded, waiting for the tide to go to low tide. We've got a pretty nice view.
And as we counted down the hours to low tide, all we could do was sit back and think about the good times that we had during the day and formulate a plan to get ourselves out of there. Because the unfortunate news was that when Craig went back for supplies, he found that his 990 had dropped oil. So it needed to be trailered back, and it was decided that both Craig and I would ride the Tenere and the 1200 in the dark, back the way we came, and up the freshwater track. Steve, on the other hand, had to make his way back to Rainbow Beach Township, where he'd be picked up by our good friend Sam, who came to the rescue. Sam would then trailer the bike back to the end of the freshwater track and meet us with some much needed fuel. We would then ride the rest of the way back to Brisbane in the dark, arriving home in the early hours of the morning. We did make one unsuccessful attempt to get the Tenere through at low tide, but to no avail. And because low tide wasn't as low as it should have been, we really had no other choice than to head back the way we came.
It's like 11:30. We had to ride back. Couldn't get through the rocks after waiting for low tide. Still couldn't get through. Now we've got to come back up freshwater track, which is when we turned around at the beginning in the dark. What a day.
And low on fuel.
And we've got a fuel issue.
Questionable fuel. Anyway, got no choice, have we?
And as luck would have it, about 3/4 of the way up the freshwater track, a gum tree had fallen across, blocking our way out. As if things couldn't get worse. Just another obstacle to overcome. But we managed to break it apart enough to get our bikes through, where we would meet Sam and Steve for fuel and make our way home. Well, it's good news for Craig's 990. After a thorough clean inspection, what he thought was a blown engine due to oil loss was actually just a blown oil pressure switch. Happy days.